Attention all cars. Attention all cars. General alarm. Car 22, go to 733 Spring Avenue. It's a 341. That is all.
Car 22, Wilco. 341.
Yeah, the man says murder.
Well, party, Joan. Thanks a lot.
Yes, the perfect day. You're a marvelous day.
Thanks, Joan. It was just like old times.
Yes, the old crowd and everything.
And good old Hampton's still on the winning side.
Right. Don't forget we're having lunch tomorrow.
Oh, yes, 1 o'clock at the Carlton. I'll be there.
Right.
Good night.
Good night.
I'm so glad you do come back soon.
We will.
Good
Thank you.
night. Right, Captain.
Joan,
Who is it?
it's me, Al Moffat.
Howell Moffat.
Hello, Joan.
You're not Hal Moffat.
Yes.
No, stay away from me.
I won't hurt you.
No, no, stay away. Ah! Oh! Oh!
Attention, all cars, District 17. All cars, District 17. The 341 suspect, mentioned in broadcast number 9, is reported surrounded in Waddell Street. 700 block. Move in.
Keep everybody back.
All right, everybody back here.
He's in here somewhere.
All right, let's get back here.
Who is it?
Don't turn on the light.
Who are you? What do you want?
Keep quiet.
If you're a burglar, I'm afraid there isn't much here for you to steal.
I'm not a burglar.
Then what do you want?
You're not afraid of me?
Well, I'm a little nervous, I guess, but why should I be afraid of you?
There they are.
Who?
Some men.
Are you in trouble?
Yes, they're after me.
Go into the bedroom. Do as I say. Just a minute. Yes?
Have you seen a man around here?
Well, no, I haven't seen anyone.
Take a look in there.
There's no one in there.
You sure you haven't seen anybody?
Yes, I'm sure.
Come on.
The woman was murdered in the same way as the other 4 victims. Authorities have issued a warning to all citizens to be on the lookout for this fiend. As far as the police know, he only appears at night. He is a large, heavy-set man, usually wearing a black coat and hat. Descriptions of the creeper have been submitted to headquarters, but these vary to such an extent that it's hard to give an accurate picture of the man's face. When last seen, he was on a tenement rooftop near the waterfront. And now, turning to the other news of the day.
Jimmy,
Morning, Mr. Haskins.
leave that radio alone. Sweep up the place. You getting paid to work, not to entertain yourself.
Okay. That creeper guy murdered somebody again last night.
Oh, murders, detectives, gangsters. That's all you think about. Get the broom.
Okay. Yeah?
Where'd this come from?
Somebody stuck it under the door.
Uh,
Don't you think it's kind of funny? Sticking a note under the door?
no. And don't go trying to make a mystery out of it. Somebody probably too busy to pick up the stuff.
Could be the creeper.
Creeper, creeper, creeper. You give me the creeps.
Well, he could be. That'd be a swell reason why he wouldn't want to see anybody or come out except at night.
You just got to deliver these groceries. And don't forget the money. $1.25.
Okay. But I still think it might be...
I know. So he's the creeper. Or you just creep along with that. I mean, hurry up with that stuff. And then get back here and do the rest of your work.
Leave it outside. How much?
$1.25.
Go away.
Thank you, Miss Hart. That boy.
You'll send Jimmy over with the rest of that order, won't you, Mr. Haskins?
Yes, I will if he ever gets back from that errand I sent him on. He's been gone nearly 2 hours.
Well, that's the boy for you. These days, they can't seem to keep their minds on their work. Good day, Mr. Haskins.
Good day, Miss Hart.
Good morning, Captain.
What makes you think it's good? Or does that beaming puss of yours mean that you have some good news?
Bad news. It's on the way. I just saw Commissioner Salisbury parking his car outside. The mayor's secretary is with him. Just thought I'd let you know, give you at least 2 minutes to think up a good story.
Hold it, Lieutenant. Come back here.
Who, me?
Yeah, you. After all, I assigned you to the Creeper murders. And I need a partner in this little game of buck passing. By the way, just what have you done toward apprehending the murderer?
Are you kidding? You know what we've done. We're operating the biggest dragnet in the history of crime in this city.
Well, it isn't big enough. You haven't caught the creeper yet. I want every available man in the Homicide Bureau put to work on this case immediately.
Now, wait,
I don't want excuses. I want the creeper in jail within 24 hours, or there'll be some changes made around here. Good morning, Commissioner. Good morning, Mr. Parkington.
Good morning, Captain Donnelly.
You're looking fine, Commissioner. And how's the missus? I trust she's feeling as good as you look.
She's not. She's scared to death, like every other woman in town, since wholesale murder has the police department stymied.
I presume you refer to the Creeper murders?
You presume right. I've come here to find out why a killer can terrorize an entire city while the police department twiddles its thumbs.
Oh, well, now, I wouldn't exactly call what we were doing thumb-twiddling, Commissioner.
Then just what would you call it, Captain? His Honor the Mayor would like to know.
Now, if you gentlemen would please sit down, I'll try to bring you up to date on the Creeper.
We are up to date on the Creeper. We know that you haven't arrested him. And His Honor the Mayor delivered an ultimatum to Commissioner Salisbury this morning. He demanded action within 24 hours. If none is forthcoming, he will ask for the Commissioner's resignation.
And I'm telling you, Donnelly, if you don't turn up something to quiet public opinion before tomorrow, your job won't be worth a plug nickel.
Exactly what I was telling Lieutenant Gates when you came in. Wasn't I, Lieutenant?
Yes, sir. You were. And I'll pass the word right on down the line till every man in the department knows exactly where this thing stands. You can depend on me, gentlemen.
Very well. Shall we go, Commissioner?
How'd I do? Great. We're still a good team. Homicide, Captain Donnelly speaking. Huh? Okay, we'll look into it. Everybody in town's got creeperitis.
Who was it?
Some grocer down near the waterfront. Thinks the creeper might have knocked off his delivery boy. The kid's been away from the store for 3 hours. No, he just had time to get down there before lunch.
Here's number 23, Donnelly.
Open up in there.
Look. The creeper again.
Yep. From the looks of that coffee pot, he can't be far away. Round up some men and start combing the neighborhood. I'll have a look around here.
Okay. I'm going to call headquarters for more men. We'll give the whole district a house-to-house canvass.
Good evening. Are you Mr. Clifford Scott?
Yes.
Captain Donnelly, Homicide Bureau, and Lieutenant Gates. Mind if we come in?
Not at all. Come right in.
Thank you.
What can I do for you, gentlemen?
I believe you can give us some important information, if you will.
I don't know what this is all about, but I'll be glad to help any way that I can. Shall we go into the living room?
Thank you.
What is it, Clifford?
I don't know yet, dear. These gentlemen are from the police department. They say they'd like to ask me some questions. Captain Donnelly, Lieutenant Gates, my wife.
How do you do?
You can help us too, Mrs. Scott.
I?
Yes. I take it you've read about the murders committed by a character the newspapers call the Creeper?
Why, yes.
Well, we stumbled onto something this morning that leads me to believe you can help us identify him.
You mean it's someone we know?
I think so. What was your class at Hampton University?
1930.
You were in that class too, weren't you, Mrs. Scott?
Yes.
And you had a classmate named Hal Moffat. Remember him?
He was a good friend of ours.
We have an idea that Hal Moffat is the Creeper.
Hal?
No, he couldn't be.
We found this in his shack, among some of his other things. He apparently had been keeping it for some time.
I remember when this was taken. It was right after a football game.
Yes. It was the day Hal almost won the game single-handed.
2 people from that college were killed by the Creeper. Professor Cushman and a woman named Joan Bemis.
We knew Joan quite well.
I thought you might have. When did you last see Hal Moffat?
We haven't seen him for years.
No, he just disappeared.
Disappeared?
Well, none of us has seen him since his last year in college. You see, something happened to Hal.
What?
He was probably our best friend. In his last year at Hampton, he was captain of the football team. In the final game of the season, we were playing Rensselaer for the conference championship. The sports writers picked Hal for All-American honors. And if they had any doubt about it, the game he played against Rensselaer won their votes. Hal had a quick temper, but it certainly paid off on the football field. He was all over the place, blocking, backing up his line, passing Rensselaer dizzy, and up to the 4th quarter had scored 3 touchdowns and brilliant broken field runs. 3 times he converted for extra points. The score stood Hampton 21, Rensselaer 7. Hal's temper had made him a lot of enemies, but this year everyone was his friend. He was one of the best players Hampton ever produced, and we were proud of him. Hal and I were very close friends. There was only one catch to it. We were both in love with Virginia. And to complicate matters, Joan Bemis was madly in love with Hal. We were going to celebrate that night, the 4 of us. I had a date with Virginia, but Hal did a little conniving. He picked her up in his car and didn't arrive until the evening was half over, leaving Joan and me to amuse ourselves by staring at each other across the table. Of course, he had a story ready when they did get there. He always had a story, and knowing his temper, I seldom challenged him.
Hi.
I'm sorry we're late, folks, but I had some car trouble and couldn't seem to find out what it was. And all of a sudden it started just like that. You know how it is, Cliff, old boy.
Hal did the scoring again, just like he did on the field that afternoon. Hal and I were roommates. He was the athlete and I was a scholar. I used to help him a lot with his studies. It's an old college custom, keeping football stars eligible to play. It wasn't because Hal was dumb. He was just too impatient to study hard. On the football field, he got action quick. But you can't stiff-arm your way through a flock of chemistry problems.
Yep, I got a very heavy date with Virginia right after chemistry class. And boy, have I got plans.
Hal did some boasting, and I did some thinking. Then he made the mistake of asking me to check his chemistry answers. I saw a chance to keep him from having that date with Virginia. His answers were right, but I fixed that. I gave him a set of wrong ones, and he memorized them very carefully for the verbal quiz scheduled for the next day. Hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, and nitric acid are all catalytic agents.
Very good, Mr. Scott. Mr. Moffat.
Sulfuric acid, when combined with H4N7, will form a solution of hydrochloric acid.
You'd better remain after class, Mr. Moffat. You seem to have everything wrong today. Class dismissed.
Hal realized that I had crossed him up. He was accustomed to being a winner. Never a loser. He was plenty angry because I'd outsmarted him, and he showed it. Professor Cushman put Hal to work on a difficult experiment that would keep him busy the rest of the afternoon. And just to needle him, I walked Virginia past the laboratory window. The look he gave us told me I'd better get away from there quick. You could never tell what he'd do when his temper flared. This time it brought tragedy. We visited him in the hospital and tried to talk to him, but he wouldn't answer. He just lay there, staring up at us. The doctors told us that the chemicals might affect certain glands and nerves, and if they did, his features would never be normal again.
And you haven't seen him since then?
No, he left the hospital after several weeks and just dropped out of sight.
Did the doctors tell you anything else about him? I mean about his mental state.
Oh, yes. One of them did say that Hal was pretty bitter when he left.
Yeah. A thing like that could very easily have affected his mind. And if he is the creeper, I guess that's what happened.
You mean he may have killed Professor Cushman just because he kept him after class that day?
Possibly. A mental quirk can develop into an extreme case of paranoia. You say he was in love with you.
Well, I don't know. I never took Hal very seriously because Clifford and I were in love with each other.
I see. Well, thank you very much for the information you've given. Oh, I'm going to have your place watched day and night for a while, Mr. Scott.
You mean he might come here?
Well, you never can tell what a man will do when his mind's affected. Better to be on the safe side. He might hold you responsible for what happened. After all, you gave him the wrong answers.
Yes, I did.
Well, now, don't let it upset you. We won't let anything happen. And you will explain to Mrs. Scott about my men covering the place? She might think they're prowlers.
Surely.
Good night.
Good night.
Be right with you. See something you like, mister? That's a very fine piece, my friend. And very reasonable. You can have it for,
What's the matter?
nothing. I was just going to say that you can buy it for practically nothing.
How much?
Well, to you, $12.50.
I'll take it. I'll pay you for it tomorrow.
Sorry, I don't do business that way.
You don't trust me?
No, in my business, it's too expensive. Put it back, or I'll call the police.
Help! Please!
It's me.
Oh, I'm glad. Come in. I was worried about you. I mean, those men who were after you.
Thanks for helping me. I brought you something.
Oh, thank you. What is it?
Don't you like it?
Oh, I'm sure I do.
Why don't you look at it?
You see, I'm blind.
Blind?
I thought you might have guessed it last night. What did you bring me?
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. I can tell. Please, let's sit down. Why were those men chasing you?
They thought I'd done something, but it wasn't my fault.
Oh, I'm sure it wasn't. I don't know if I should accept this from you. You haven't even told me your name.
It's Hal.
Oh, mine's Helen. Last night you seemed surprised because I wasn't afraid of you. What's wrong, Hal? Should I be afraid?
Everyone else is.
Why?
I can't tell you.
Do you want to be friends with me?
Sure. You're nice to me.
And no one else is. Is that it? I think I understand. When you've been blind as long as I have, you learn to see through your senses. I can't explain it exactly, but you get a feeling about people when you meet them. You see a picture of them in your mind. Not just what they look like, but what they really are. You see them much more clearly than you do with your eyes. Maybe that's why they say looks are deceptive. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I know.
I'd like to help you if you'd let me.
You can.
How?
Just let me come to see you.
Of course I want you to. I'm alone most of the time, except when I give piano lessons. I have such a good idea of you now. But if I could touch your face, then...
No, don't do that.
Why not?
I don't want you to.
Hal. Hal.
Good morning, Commissioner. Good morning, Mr. Parkington. I thought you'd be dropping by about this time.
So, you're sitting here playing gin rummy with another creeper murder on the front page of the newspapers.
I think better when I'm enjoying my hobby. I'm a pigeon fancier.
Now, you listen to me, Donnelly. We told you.
I know. You've told me already that you wanted the creeper arrested within 24 hours. Well, gentlemen, he's still at large. Now, I suppose the mayor and yourself have decided to take over personally. No doubt you'll have the killer in custody in 10 minutes flat. I'll just let the newspapers know that it's in your lap.
Just a minute, Captain. Let's not be hasty about this.
You don't mean that His Honor the Mayor wouldn't relish the job, that you wouldn't like to take over?
That's beside the point. The entire city is up in arms, and the creeper goes on killing people. Now, I'm a reasonable man, Donnelly.
I'm glad to hear it, Commissioner. Now that the pressure's off, I can let you know that we have the first definite clues to the identity of the creeper.
Who is it? Yes, who is it?
I said clue, gentlemen. When I'm certain, I'll give you the lowdown, and I believe it'll be soon. That's all I can tell you at the moment. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have Gates on a triple blitz.
Why didn't you let him know about the newspaper clippings?
What? And have those publicity hounds filling the front pages with a lot of stuff that would scare the creeper right out of town? Discard.
fine, Dorothy. Just fine. She's coming along very nicely, Mrs. Aubringer. You'll be playing the classics before you know it.
I don't want to play that stuff. I want to play boogie-woogie.
Oh, you can play that, too, as a hobby. But first you must master the things that are solid.
But boogie-woogie is solid. It really sends me.
Oh, hush, dear. Put your music away. We're going home now. She gets that from her father. He plays hot trumpet in the fireman's band. Come along, dear. We'll see you next week at the same time. I'll see that she practices like you told her to, Miss Helen.
I'll be right in the groove.
Oh, Dorothy. Good night. Good night. Who is it?
Hello?
Oh, it's you, Hal. I didn't hear you come in.
I didn't knock.
Are those men after you again?
No, I was listening outside. When those people left, I just walked in.
Please sit down.
You make a living teaching kids to play.
Oh, yes, I managed to get along.
It's tough doing that, you being like you are.
I love music, and I like teaching it to others. I don't find my blindness too much of a handicap.
Won't you ever be able to see?
The doctor told me a year ago that there might be a chance if I had an operation.
Why don't you do it?
It would be very expensive.
How much?
A lot of money. So much that I don't even think about it anymore.
If you could see, you'd...
What were you going to say, Hal?
Nothing.
What's wrong, Hal? Why don't you want me to see you? Are you afraid?
Yeah, I'm afraid.
But why?
You'd know if you could see me.
Well, if I'm not afraid of you now, why would I be if I could see you?
You would be. Everybody else is.
Then it's probably just as well that I'm blind.
Don't you have any idea how much that operation would cost?
Oh, the doctor said it would be $2,000 or $3,000 at least.
I'm going now.
Hal.
Yeah?
If you'd just let me touch your face, I'm sure that...
you.
Who are you?
You don't remember me.
No, You're not Hal.
Yeah. I've changed a little since I last saw you. Haven't I?
Your face.
It frightens you, doesn't it?
I can't believe it.
This is what you and Cliff did to me.
But we never knew.
Yeah, you're afraid of me. Just like all the others. You've even got a detective outside now to protect you from me.
They insisted on guarding the house. They told us you were the creeper. That you'd killed all those people. Joe and Professor Cushman and the others.
I need some money. A lot of money.
I'll do anything I can to help you. But we don't keep very much money in the house.
Cliff's doing all right for himself. You've probably got a lot of jewels.
Good evening, Mr. Scott.
Hello. I'm sorry you have to stay out here.
Well, that's all right, sir. It's my job. Good night.
Good night.
Keep quiet.
Virginia?
There's Cliff.
Tell him to come on up. Go on.
I'm up here, Cliff.
Okay, dear. Hello, darling. What's the matter?
Hello, Cliff.
It's Hal.
Hal?
Yeah, it's been a long time, Cliff. I don't blame you for not recognizing me.
Cliff, they were right. He is the creeper. He killed those people.
But why, Hal? What happened to you?
Look at my face.
Yes, but...
That's what happened to me, thanks to you.
Why did you come here?
I need money.
I told him we'd be glad to do anything we could to help him.
Well, yes, of course.
Get those jewels of mine in the wall safe.
But... All right. They're in here.
I'll take it.
But it's locked. I keep the key in the desk drawer.
I won't need a key.
But Hal, there's personal papers in it. Things of no value to you, but very valuable to me. I'd like to keep them if you don't mind.
Okay. Unlock it. Remember, I'm watching you.
Here's the jewelry. Put up your hands.
You?
Go downstairs and let the detective in. I'm sorry, Hal, but I had to.
Mr. Scott! Mr. Scott! What's going on? I heard a shot.
It's Hal Moffat. He's upstairs. My husband shot him. Cliff! No. No.
Calling cars 41 and 53, District 5. Cars 41 and 53, District 5. Proceed at once to 500 block, Cottage Grove Avenue. Investigate a 341. Proceed with caution. This job is by the creeper.
There's another one. Oh, yeah. He's been hit, all right. Now, maybe he's been hurt badly enough to slow him up.
Captain Donnelly?
Yeah.
We just got a flash on the radio. They've traced him to the tenement district, over by Grant Avenue.
Well, maybe. Hey, you know what I think? Yeah, I know.
Helen.
Oh, Hal, you startled me. You came in by the fire escape. Are you in trouble again?
No. I've got something for you.
What is it?
This stuff will bring enough for that operation.
Where did you get these? Hal, you're hurt.
I'm all right. You have that operation right away.
Hal, wait. I'd like an appraisal of these jewels.
Yes, ma'am. It'll take a few minutes. Would you care to wait?
Yes, I'll wait.
Alfred, get me the police.
What did he say when he gave you these jewels?
He told me to sell them and use the money for an operation on my eyes.
Didn't you think that was a little funny?
I started to ask him about them, but he left before I had a chance.
Don't you realize you can get yourself into a lot of trouble protecting a criminal?
A criminal?
Well, I think you can call him that.
I can't believe it.
Didn't you know the police were after him?
No.
Not even that first night when they came to your room?
I thought they were just some men. He never told me.
No. No, I guess he wouldn't.
I knew he was in some sort of trouble, but I didn't realize it was with the police. What has he done?
Murder at wholesale. He happens to be the creeper.
Creeper.
Maybe you'd better sit down.
He was so nice to me. I just can't believe this about him.
Extra, extra, blind girl confesses friendship with creeper killer. Read all about it. Blind girl confesses... Extra, extra, read all about it. Blind girl tells all about the creeper. Extra, extra, get your late edition here. Blind girl tells all.
Flavor.
Yes. Blind girl tells all, read all about it. Get your paper here, get your late edition. Blind girl tells all, read all about it. Blind girl tells all.
That was a fine thing you did, Miss Page, helping us trap the killer.
I wonder how he feels about it. He trusted me, wanted to help me.
Don't let it get you. His mind had snapped.
After all, he was a psychopathic killer. And by the way, I have some news for you. I've been talking to certain people, and they think you're going to get that operation.
Oh, wonderful.
You look tired. Why don't you...
May I see you home?
Oh, thank you.
Well, there goes my pigeon.